If certification prep is part of your plan, subscribe for new practice videos and guides every week. Visit cloudcertificationstore.com for weekly releases and complete question banks. Thanks for continuing the series. This is episode 6 in the Get It Done Certified playlist for the AWS Certified AI Practitioner, AIF-C01. We'll work through questions 51 through 60 with answers and explanations. Question 51. What is a benefit of using Amazon SageMaker model cards? Option A. Providing a visually appealing summary of model capabilities. Option B. Standardizing information about a model's purpose, performance, and limitations. Option C. Reducing the overall computational requirements of a model. Option D. Physically storing models for archival purposes. The correct answer is B. Standardizing information about a model's purpose, performance, and limitations. Explanation. Model cards create a consistent, governed record for each model artifact. They improve cross-team understanding and audit readiness. They surface ethical considerations, datasets, metrics, and known risks. This supports transparency and responsible AI practices. Why not option A? Visual appeal presentation helps, but documentation value is about structure and completeness. A pretty card without standardized content won't satisfy governance. The core benefit is traceable, comparable metadata, so aesthetics are secondary. Why not option C? Reduce compute documentation doesn't change inference/training compute costs. Model efficiency requires architectural or system changes. Cards inform decisions, they don't optimize runtime. Thus, not a benefit. Why not option D? Store model binaries. Cards describe models, they don't host the artifacts themselves. Storage remains in registries or object stores. Conflating documentation with storage is incorrect. Therefore, D is wrong. Question 52. What does an F1 score measure? Option A. Model precision and recall. Option B. Model speed in generating responses. Option C. Financial cost of operating the model. Option D. Energy efficiency of computations. The correct answer is A. Model precision and recall. Explanation. F1 is the harmonic mean of precision and recall, balancing false positives and false negatives. It's useful when class distributions are imbalanced. Values range from 0 worst to 1 best. It's a standard metric for classification tasks. Why not option B? Speed, that's latency/throughput, unrelated to classification quality. You can have low latency with poor F1 or vice versa. Performance metrics and accuracy metrics are orthogonal, hence incorrect. Why not option C? Financial cost is tracked with billing/FinOps metrics, not F1. Optimization decisions may trade cost vs. accuracy, but F1 itself isn't cost, so this is unrelated. Why not option D? Energy efficiency power/CO2 metrics come from hardware/utilization monitoring. F1 doesn't capture resource consumption, therefore not applicable. Question 53. Which strategy meets the requirements of a dynamic FAQ chatbot most cost-effectively? Option A. Fine-tune the model regularly. Option B. Train the model using context data. Option C. Pre-train and benchmark the model using context data. Option D. Use retrieval augmented generation RAG with prompt engineering. The correct answer is D. Use retrieval augmented generation RAG with prompt engineering. Explanation. FAQs change often. RAG updates by reindexing docs, not retraining models. This keeps costs low and content fresh. Prompt patterns standardize tone and answer structure. The combo yields high accuracy with minimal ML ops burden. Why not option A? Regular fine-tuning incur training cost and downtime for each update. Risks embedding stale answers if cadence lags. Overkill for document-driven Q&A, not the cheapest path. Why not option B? Train on context data, similar drawbacks to fine-tuning with added data curation overhead. Embedding facts in weights hampers agility. Document retrieval is a better fit, thus misaligned. Why not option C? Pre-train monumentally expensive and unnecessary for a narrow domain. Benchmarking won't solve content freshness. RAG addresses the core need with far fewer resources. Therefore, not viable. Question 54. A resume screening system was trained on an unrepresentative dataset and shows unfair outcomes. Which responsible AI dimension is implicated? Option A, fairness. Option B, explainability. Option C, privacy and security. Option D, transparency. The correct answer is A, fairness. Explanation. Biased data can systematically disadvantage protected groups. Fairness addresses disparate impact and equitable treatment. Mitigation includes rebalancing, reweighting, or constraint-based training. It's the primary lens for data representativeness issues. Why not option B? Explainability concerns understanding model decisions, not distribution parity. While helpful, explanations don't fix biased outcomes. Fairness interventions still remain necessary, thus secondary. Why not option C? Privacy and security protects data confidentiality and integrity. It doesn't ensure equitable predictions. A secure system can still be unfair, hence not the core issue. Why not option D? Transparency involves disclosures and documentation. Transparency can reveal bias but doesn't define it. The essential problem is disparate treatment. Therefore, fairness is the correct dimension. Question 55. Which AWS services will help a global financial company assess compliance requirements? Option A, AWS Audit Manager. Option B, AWS Config. Option C, Amazon Inspector. Option D, Amazon CloudWatch. Option E, AWS CloudTrail. The correct answers are A and E. Option A, AWS Audit Manager. Option E, AWS CloudTrail. Explanation. Audit Manager automates evidence collection and maps it to frameworks E, G, PCI, SOC, reducing manual effort. CloudTrail records API activity for provable audit trails across accounts and regions. Together, they provide both the logs and the structured compliance reporting layer. This pairing is foundational for regulated environments. Why not option B? AWS Config tracks configuration changes and compliance to rules, but not full audit evidence mapping. It's valuable for posture, not end-to-end compliance assessments alone. You still need logs and reporting, thus insufficient by itself. Why not option C? Amazon Inspector focuses on vulnerability scanning for compute and container images. Security hygiene is important but distinct from regulatory evidence workflows. It doesn't replace audit trails or assessments. Therefore, not the best fit. Why not option D? Amazon CloudWatch observability for metrics and logs, not compliance assessments. Dashboards and alarms don't map to regulatory controls. It complements but does not fulfill audit requirements. Hence, not correct. You're halfway through this episode. If the practice is useful, subscribe for new certification guides and question sessions every week, and visit cloudcertificationstore.com for weekly releases and complete eBooks. Question 56. Which metric measures the runtime efficiency of operating AI models? Option A, Customer Satisfaction Score (CSAT). Option B, Training time for each epoch. Option C, Average response time. Option D, Number of training instances. The correct answer is C, Average response time. Explanation. Response time, latency, directly reflects user-perceived performance at inference. It's a primary SLO for interactive systems like chat and search. It enables tuning of caching, batching, and hardware tiers. Tracking it over time reveals regressions after deployments. Why not option A? CSAT, a business outcome metric influenced by many factors beyond runtime. Useful but not a direct measure of system efficiency. Latency and throughput are the right technical KPIs, hence not correct. Why not option B? Training time per epoch, a training phase metric, not indicative of production inference health. You can have long training but fast inference or vice versa. It doesn't measure runtime efficiency. Therefore, irrelevant. Why not option D? Number of training instances, quantity of data, or class count, not an operational metric. It doesn't indicate how quickly the model serves results, not a performance KPI. Thus, incorrect. Question 57. Which solution improves generative AI response accuracy most cost-effectively? Option A, fine-tune the FM. Option B, retrain the FM. Option C, train a new FM. Option D, use prompt engineering. The correct answer is D, use prompt engineering. Explanation. Clearer instructions, constraints, and examples often yield large accuracy gains. It requires no training budget and is immediately testable. You can standardize formats to reduce ambiguity for the model. It's the lowest cost, highest leverage first step. Why not option A? Fine-tune helpful but incurs training cost, governance, and model management overhead. Risks domain overfitting and version proliferation. Use after exhausting prompt/RAG improvements. Not the most cost-effective first move. Why not option B? Retrain even more expensive and time-consuming than fine-tuning. Rarely necessary for prompt-level issues. Overkill for simple accuracy gaps. Therefore, not optimal. Why not option C? Train a new FM, prohibitively costly and complex. Only warranted for foundational research or IP needs. Far beyond the scope of routine accuracy tuning. Thus, not viable. Question 58. Which strategy should the company use to identify harmful language without labeled data? Option A, Amazon recognition moderation. Option B, Amazon comprehend toxicity detection. Option C, SageMaker built-in algorithms for a custom model. Option D, Amazon Poly to monitor comments. The correct answer is B, Amazon comprehend toxicity detection. Explanation. Comprehend offers pre-trained toxicity classification for text out of the box. It avoids the need to curate and label datasets. It's easy to integrate and scales with API calls. This is the fastest path to functional moderation. Why not option A? Recognition moderation targets images and videos, not text comments. Won't detect harmful language in textual content. Wrong modality for the task. Hence, not suitable. Why not option C? SageMaker built-ins. You'd need labeled data and training loops to build a classifier. That adds time and ML ops overhead compared to a managed service. Not aligned with the no-labeled data constraint. Therefore, suboptimal. Why not option D? poly text-to-speech, it reads content, doesn't classify it, provides no moderation capability, irrelevant to the requirement, thus incorrect. Question 59. Which AWS service/feature meets the requirements to deploy and monitor a custom recommendation model with drift detection? Option A, Amazon Recognition. Option B, Amazon SageMaker Clarify. Option C, Amazon Comprehend. Option D, Amazon SageMaker Model Monitor. The correct answer is D, Amazon SageMaker Model Monitor. Explanation: Model Monitor tracks data quality, model quality, and drift in production endpoints. It alerts when feature distributions or predictions deviate from baselines. This supports timely retraining or rollback decisions. It's purpose-built for post-deployment monitoring. Why not Option A, Recognition Image/Video Analysis, unrelated to monitoring your custom model's drift? It cannot inspect endpoint inputs/outputs for shifts, not a monitoring solution. Therefore, wrong. Why not Option B, Clarify focuses on bias and explainability at training/inference time. It doesn't continuously watch for drift across time windows. Complementary but not a drift monitor. Hence, not the best match. Why not Option C, Comprehend NLP service, not a monitoring framework for your model endpoints. Provides its own text analytics, not drift detection. Misaligned to the requirement. Thus, incorrect. Question 60. Which AWS service/feature supports transparency and explainability of model outputs? Option A, Amazon SageMaker Model Cards. Option B, Amazon Recognition. Option C, Amazon Comprehend. Option D, Amazon Lex. The correct answer is A, Amazon SageMaker Model Cards. Explanation: Model cards document purpose, data, metrics, ethical considerations, and limitations. They help stakeholders understand how and when to trust outputs. They form part of responsible AI governance and audits. This directly advances transparency goals. Why not Option B, Recognition, a computer vision API? It doesn't document your models. Using it won't explain outputs from arbitrary systems, not an explainability tool. Therefore, not correct. Why not Option C, Comprehend provides NLP capabilities but not model documentation. It's a consumer of models, not a governance layer. Doesn't satisfy transparency requirements. Hence, wrong. Why not Option D, Lex Conversational Interface Service? Again, not a documentation/explainability feature. It orchestrates dialogue, not governance. Misaligned to the goal. Thus, incorrect. Great work! If these questions are helping your preparation, follow the channel and share the series with your teammates, colleagues, or friends who are studying for the same exam. Continue with the next episode for more practice.